to the podcast, everyone. It's been a little while. I was sick all last week, and I got to tell you, the 8/8 portal and the first August eclipse just whooped my ass. I was down pretty bad. Not in a bad way, but I very much felt like I needed to go inward. It felt like a cocoon period. The idea of a scab keeps coming to mind. The 8/8 portal and the eclipse left me feeling so raw. And this time where I've kind of gone dark allowed me to grow some new skin so that the scab could eventually fall away. On August 8th, my longtime mentor held a retreat, and I decided to fly out to Seattle for it. It just so happened that I have several high school classmates who are also in that area. So I figured since I was out there, maybe they would want to get together. So I fly in Friday, and Friday night we all headed out to this fabulous restaurant, a Taiwanese restaurant. So, so good. And these folks were all in very different stages of life. One of us is married with young kids. Another is married with older kids. Another is single and unhappy. And then I'm single and on the other end of the spectrum, incredibly satisfied with life right now. So it was very apparent early on in our time together that this was not going to be a cup filling experience for me. And what I mean by that is, I'm really lucky to have found and made so many amazing friends that at the end of our time together, I walk away feeling so seen and so held, and dare I say, celebrated. This experience was not that. But as soon as I realized that it wasn't going to be, I decided to let go of any expectation I had for the night. The role I ended up playing in our time together was that of interviewer, facilitator, and of course, nothing very formal. It was just asking questions that maybe these three gentlemen would not have otherwise asked each other, with no expectation of unearned intimacy here, but just, what's going on in your life right now? Like, what are you excited about? We talked about everything from pets, living and past, to movies and music and art. We ran the whole gamut of topics. And at the end of the night, it was still a great time. And I had no regrets about spending that time with them. It was quite an emotional whiplash to then walk into this 8/8 portal retreat experience with the most amazing women and have these like soul filled conversations and ahas. And I'll share one in particular with you that kind of rocked my world. At the top of the retreat, we were doing a journaling activity where we were thinking about what it is this next season of life was asking from us. In what ways were we being asked to step more fully into our power? And of course, this is all through introspection with the help and support of spirit guides, spirit team members. So I'm going inward and I'm like, okay, guys, I know you want me to step more fully in my power, but what does that even mean? What does that mean? And my spirit team said, it means don't be afraid to show up as someone who knows how beautiful they are, how intelligent they are, how charismatic and sexy and thoughtful and funny they are. And it's hard. I don't have language to describe what I was feeling in that moment, but it was very conflicted because on an intellectual level, I understood that it's a good thing to know this about yourself and to embody this. And at the same time, there was this deep conditioning that was telling me, ooh, this feels scratchy. This feels inappropriate. This feels self absorbed. So we continued to journal, and Spirit brought to my attention a book that I won't get into the details of it, but a book that a friend had gifted me back in high school that I was using in the workshop as like a hard writing surface for journaling. And inside of this book, gifted to me for my birthday in 2001, was an inscription from a dear classmate who had the kindest things to say about me during a period in my life where I saw myself as anything but. I just, when I think back to my high school self, I see myself as so, oh my gosh, just like egocentric and sensitive and insecure and needy and boy obsessed and all these negative descriptions. But this person saw kindness and wisdom and charisma and compassion. And so the reason Spirit brought my attention to this book that I was writing on with this beautiful message is because they were telling me, can't you see? Can't you see that the fact that you deny that you are these things does not mean that other people can't see you for who you really are? You are fooling nobody by refusing to embrace these things about yourself. And the medicine that you are here to share will not be able to reach the people it needs to for as long as you continue to deny this. The next part in our journaling activity was to reflect on what is the worst case scenario? That thing we're working so hard to avoid. What is the worst case scenario if that comes true? And I was like, oh my gosh, people are going to think I'm just this like delirious, delusional, conceited, selfish, person. But I know that that's not my truth. And I know that the people in my life who really see me do not think these things about me, would never, could never think these things about me. And Spirit goes, there will be people who misunderstand you. There will be people who say and think these things about you. But can you see that this is all for the highest and best? Can you see that when these relationships leave your life, that it leaves room for more of what is aligned, room for more people who love you and see you and want to join you on this path? I was bawling during this whole time, by the way. I'm incredibly grateful to be able to get through this retelling without feeling overwhelmed by all of the emotion that this brought forward. But as a result, it did feel like a new version of me was unlocked that day, unleashed, the guides are saying. And with great knowledge comes great responsibility, right? So this last week, I was laying low. I was sick. I couldn't get my ass in the shower. I didn't leave my home. And I couldn't understand why I was showing up this way because I wasn't depressed. I knew that. I'm very familiar with that feeling. I experienced it a lot in my youth. I knew this wasn't that. And yet I still needed to tend to myself, to go inward and to just lay low. So instead of trying to figure it out and make it make sense, and instead of pulling myself up by my bootstraps and forcing myself to do things I did not have the energy or interest to do, I just leaned back. I leaned back, and eventually I had the realization, what was it, on maybe Thursday or Friday, I finally feel well enough to take my dogs for a walk. We're out in the fresh sunshine. I'm moving my body. It is no surprise that I had this realization in that moment. And I realized that what I've been feeling is grief. I have been grieving, or what I've always understood to be grief. I was realizing that I'm leaving this past version of myself behind. And we've been told a lot of stories about what it means to move on, that there is this expectation of grief involved in the process. But if I love her and appreciate her for everything that that version has done for me up until this point, where is that grief coming from? Is that actually what I'm feeling, or is that what I've just been conditioned to feel? How I've been conditioned to understand this process? Maybe in that restful period, there was room for celebration. That's the kind of story I want to move forward with as I continue to leave one period of my life behind and move on to the next. So I'm incredibly excited about the new energy I can feel coursing through me. I'm feeling a deeper connection to the feminine within. I'm feeling more grounded and excited about my expression. And I have a lot of fun ideas about how to continue to bring people together over story and intuition. I'm excited to share those with you soon.